Welcome to Agency Ascend, the podcast where we explore the journeys and strategies of agency owners and entrepreneurs who are scaling their businesses to new heights. I'm your host and producer today, Isaac Smith, and I'm joined beside Chris Sterlacci, Chad Brumit, and Pat Mulady. Did I say it right this time, guys?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, okay, good. No. I my dyslexia kicked in at the beginning of today's episode. But how's everyone doing today?
Good. Excellent.
And this is the first time the audience is going to be meeting Chad and Pat. So you guys want to introduce yourselves real quick? Tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. I'm Chad Brumit, the new COO here at Coverica Agency Alliance. Happy to get to work with the team. It's actually pretty cool how we met. I got to meet Chris through C12, which is a group of Christian leaders. Met him about a year ago and finally had the opportunity to come to work with him and have loved every minute of it over the last 4 months.
That was that mastermind you were telling me about, wasn't
Correct.
it? Yeah. I hear you guys have a lot of fun.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Mostly fun.
Mostly fun.
No, it's actually really cool. It's really nice to be able to blend both business and our faith and figure out how to do best in both worlds.
Right.
So it's a really great place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a definite opportunity to get around other business entrepreneur minds, and that will hold you accountable, tell you where you're screwing up, not just in your business, but your personal life as well, and really kind of pushing you based on how you want to grow. Because we kind of went through the first episode, ethics and the value proposition associated around our core character, who we are. These guys hold me to that higher standard and aren't afraid to beat me up when I'm not.
You guys ever had to have a hard conversation like that?
Not yet.
Okay.
At least not with Chad. He hasn't. Yeah, he's. Okay, maybe a couple times.
They've been loving conversations.
Good.
And Pat?
Yeah, thanks. Pat Mulady, Regional Vice President Sales with Coverica Alliance. Been here 6 years, so
6 years in the industry, only for a short period of time.
38 years in the industry. So I'm third generation insurance guy. So among myself, my father, and then his dad, we've got over a century of insurance experience. So, but interestingly, I worked for Travelers for 10 years. And at Travelers as a sales exec for commercial, I called on Coverica Alliance. So when I had the decision to leave, I knew this is where I wanted to be. So
this is home.
Yeah, this is home. Yeah, it's been a great 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are we going to be talking about today?
So today we're actually kind of build upon episode 1 where we introduced the alliance and what it meant and kind of the history of the alliance, and we want to shift gears and really kind of focus in on our existing members, right? And it's that, what value do we bring? Because we were actually kind of joking about this earlier. We've got a lot of long-term agency members that maybe just forgot exactly what the alliance does, right? So we figured this would be a great time to go back over that value proposition and hear both from Chris's perspective, as the strategist behind where we're trying to go, and then Pat, what he's seeing day-to-day out there working with our members.
All right. Sounds good.
So for that member that has been with us, say, 6 years, 7 years, that may not necessarily fully appreciate everything that we do, kind of what does it mean for them to actually be a member, and what are some of those value propositions that they might be missing out on?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I could probably break it down in several different ways, but I'll try to keep it high level, and then we can ask questions. One of the first things that I know everybody looks at is market access. That would be the first reason somebody would be typically looking at us. They don't have the markets, especially those that come from a captive environment that are getting what we consider to be scratched to the independent side. They don't have those long-term relationships. So you're really able to leverage kind of the membership, the network side, those relationships. So for our existing members, it's working with our growth coaches, seeing, okay, I have these markets. I really wanted this one. What do I need to do to be able to qualify to grow to that? Obviously, this is a hard market right now, specifically in the personal line space. So understanding those landmines, what those look like, making certain that you don't step on those, and working with the growth coaches to basically move around those or navigate or look for other options. So the value in that is saying, hey, just because we're in a hard market doesn't mean that we're not growing. It also doesn't mean that there aren't opportunities to be made. So get connected with them. If they don't come out as often as you'd like, they are available via phone or text in some cases, and even just email just to re-engage that environment. The market access would be, I consider, the low-hanging fruit. The higher-hanging fruit is obviously the compensation and overrides associated with incentivizing that type of beneficial relationship. So our partner carriers pay us additional revenues to go after the specific or choice accounts that they want to do for their market appetite. We have resources out the wazoo, it seems like, in that regard, as far as key appetites for each of those carriers, understanding what their hit list is. And then Mindy and Stephanie and our Access Plus mentors as well can tell you, okay, this is what the carrier is saying that they want. Here's what they're actually writing. So that way you're saving a little bit of frustration. And then all the kind of out there, a little bit further out, is technology. What we're seeing in the vendor space, who are we partnering with, who we're recommending, who's going to have you sign an agreement where you give up all of your data, and avoiding that type of pitfall.
Which, of course, we do not do.
Yeah, which we don't. Our goal is to make certain that our clients own their data.
Yes.
I'm kind of relentless into that pursuit, because if I'm going to sign up somebody, I want them as an entrepreneur, I want them to know that they have that control. So I think that's a good high level.
And you actually hit a great word, entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs are typically independent. We like to have our own things, don't want people telling us what to do.
Yes.
Right? At the same time, Pat, I'd love to hear from your perspective. How do we take an entrepreneur and actually get them to lean into our growth coaches? Because by definition, a growth coach is actually supposed to kind of get in there and kind of tell them a little bit of what to do.
Yeah. I was going to back up just a second. Chris had mentioned market access, and that's really table stakes anymore these days. It's so much more than that. And what I see as a recruiter when people come on, the economic play is easy to discuss with these folks. The numbers work when you join us. They just do. So getting past that, it becomes the conversation with your point, Chad, talking to entrepreneurs and those folks that are coming on board that may think they know everything. They know a lot of things, but I talked last week on a recruiter call that talked about a lot of our competitors and the staffs that they have. We have 15 employees, and we have 10 counties in North Texas. So if we can't be in your office in an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's our value. We are hands-on. We are boots on the ground. This is not a video library that we bring folks on. And
we do want a video library.
We do. We're working on that. But it's growth, from the growth coach to an Access Plus mentor to guys like Chris and his father Mike and Chad as the COO here. Newly, that Chad has just come on board. But the strength of the staff, and really, when I do my job and I hand off a new member, it goes to the growth coach. I don't know of really any other competitors out there who have what we have in the strength of the folks that we have. And it starts with the growth coach. So I mentioned I came from Travelers. I handled probably 18 or 20 aggregators, clusters, alliances, networks. There's a lot of synonymously. But the decision to come here was because of the strength of the team. And, to have a growth coach walk beside you and really showing you the blind spots. You can be a great owner of a small business. A lot of these captives that we bring on, these are owners, entrepreneurs from a captive agency. They have one product, they're selling one thing. So, we not only these growth coaches have a lot of experience, they've got agency experience. And so, these folks are learning from people who have been there and done it. Again, back to Chris's point, carrier access, economic play, that's where it starts. But these folks are getting into specifically, what is your business plan? Who do you want to be in 5, 10, 15 years? And crafting it specifically for that member. This is not a one size fit all. We bring somebody on and we craft it, customize it to each individual agency. They're all different. But again, the value, Chad started the conversation with those that have been here 6, 8 years. And economically, they make more money and they love getting the checks in the mail. But, the networking and things we do on a day in, day out basis is I think, lost to a lot of the members. So I think it's just kind of resurrecting that.
Yeah.
No, that's phenomenal. And, you mentioned, just that everything is custom tailored, right? So with that, we can be as involved with your business as you want, or we could be as hands off as you want, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're the partner for growth.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm talking to a lot of the captives. They come over a little bit gun shy because they've been told what to do their whole career. So we don't dictate. We coach and we mentor. So,
well, it's a case in point. I mean, one of the members would ask, "Oh, what are you going to require that I sell a life policy?"
Right.
That's one of the biggest hangups that we've seen. Is it's like, no, do you want to sell life? If you want to sell life, we know a couple avenues, but that's really where the personal and commercial side. But likewise, hey, I'm wanting to buy an agency. What do I need to do? Or, hey, I'm about to hire somebody. Do I need to get written approval for? I'm like, no, this is your company. If you want to go hire somebody, go hire them. We have some best practices, some standards that you may want to review beforehand, as well as we'll give you a bunch of sample contracts and producer agreements that you, depending on how you want to set it up or how you want to scale it, you may want to consume or have your attorney look it over type of deal. But those resources are available to all of our members.
And you actually hit a great point talking about acquisitions or potentially selling, right? Or just, overall transition planning.
Yeah.
Today being a hard market, would you consider it a good time to sell or even potentially acquire? So if we're talking to our existing agents out there, is right now a time for them to look at acquisition?
That's the $1 million question. My personal sense is it's a great opportunity if you can do it to buy. I personally like the whole idea of building long term. I'm not a private equity guy that's looking to restart. I'm more of the build and hold mentality. At the same time, I respect that entrepreneurial spirit that I've seen guys just scale hundreds of companies, and that's where they get excited. So if you can pair up with one of those guys, that's always fun. But yeah, I would say it's a great time to look for acquisitions more so right now. We're seeing that a lot of the markets are, specifically on the personal line side, is shrinking. How many agents that they're working with. So if you're, let's say, brand new and you want to come in to get from point A to point B a lot quicker, acquiring an agency does help. The nuance is the relationships and the politics that come in from the carrier relationship side.
And that's where we come in.
Correct. So I'm always telling my members, go out. Now, here's the problem with me telling to all our members, go out and buy agencies. Is they then turn around and go, well, what agencies are for sale? Therein lies the next situation. It's like everybody is for sale. It's just building those relationships. And I can't remember the specifics on the statistic, but it was like 86% of agencies sell before they hit the open market. So it's almost imperative that they build the relationship before they're considering it.
So it's who you know. It is. It all comes down to who you know.
Absolutely.
What you guys do almost reminds me of like a reverse white labeling package almost. I know with white labeling, it's the concept of, oh, hey, I do this. I'm going to let you put your brand on my package. For you guys, it's, hey, we have the package. You can take it. We can tailor it, and then you can make it your own and then bring it back to us, and we can share it with everyone else if you want. It's an ecosystem.
Specifically, I learned that from my father. He would indoctrinate me, if you will. But no, he would say, it's like, look, I can give you the answers to the test or to the scenario or whatever. You're still going to leverage it uniquely to you. So even if I gave you all the steps of how we became successful, how we did this deal over that deal, you're going to disseminate and understand that information uniquely to you. So we don't mind that our members take and cannibalize our job posting ads. I'll have ISMs reach out and say, "Hey, I saw this post. Can I use this?" But why'd you call me and ask? I'm almost expecting you to do so. All I'm saying, don't put Coveric on it. Put your agency.
Right.
Maybe you want to tweak it a little bit so that Google Analytics doesn't shut us down. But
So, Pat, slightly different topic, but it's a resource that's definitely available to a lot of our existing members that I don't know that we utilize properly. That's Access Plus, especially in today's market.
That used to be a 4-letter word.
It used to be a 4-letter word, right? But if we think about where we're at in the market today, hard market, there's ways, and we actually have some agencies successfully using it to grow. And that really is that foundation for those future direct appointments, correct?
Yeah. You know, this, we started this. We started this 38 years ago?
Gosh. 2001 is when we joined SIAA.
Yeah. We're the largest and the oldest out there. So we've done this a very long time. And I say that for 2 reasons. One, we're huge, and leverage means everything in this industry. Secondly, I opened up with my tenure. I just, I'm an old guy, so I gave away my age, probably 38 years in the business, and I tell anybody I talk to out there in the prospects that I've never seen it this tough ever. Coming from the carrier side, most of my career, I have a good perspective on why carriers are doing what they're doing. We have members. I talk to people every day that don't understand what the carriers are doing. They question the carriers. The carriers have to remain viable. They have to make money to stay relevant, stay viable, to protect their members.
Because if they go out of business, they can't pay claims, right?
Yeah,
they can't afford to take care of clients.
Yeah, so there's reasons, but this model has always been predicated on getting direct appointments, and that's what we strive to do. So, outside of carrier access and the coaching, the mentoring, getting direct contracts is what we've always done. So we've had to pivot, and in a major way in the last 18 months. So the pivot and the fix is our Access Plus department, and so that's a huge relief for a lot of our members, and especially the new folks that are coming in that are looking for ways to write business. And so we tell them, and as a recruiter, I said, you can go to MGAs and you can go place your business and plant your business under a number of options. But the one thing Access Plus, provides, not only, I mentioned it earlier, is this amazing team and this mentorship on not only quoting business, but driving production for the agency to remain sustainable in this marketplace and Chris said, this is a good time to buy. And there are people pulling out. There's people selling because they don't have the stomach for this, this hard market that we're sitting in, which has been longer than any I've been part of. But this Access Plus team, to have folks come to us, let our staff help you produce this business, hold it under our codes, and when. It's not if, it's when, these carriers are gonna reopen for appointments. Yeah, they're they're going to look at aggregators, networks like us, and especially us at SIAA. We just heard it from, I think Hartford was in town, and this is somebody from their corporate office that said, we're looking for somebody that already has lines of business with Hartford, and secondly, they need to be tethered to a network like you. So you can't just go out and do it on your own. So to have that volume built up with that carrier is an easy transition to the direct side. So to your point, Chad, the upside of Access Plus is again the mentorship. We don't just quote to quote. We're in every submission that comes through, these folks are trying to help you write business with the right carriers, and so we're not quote takers. There's a means to an end with our folks and our team downstairs, but yeah, the transition from Access Plus, your business, when you get at that direct deployment, transitions immediately, and we pay $1 in profit sharing. Chris mentioned profit sharing, so say you grow $50,000 with one of our strategic partner carriers, that moves over to the direct code, and day one
eligible. Yep.
They're making money. So it's again, we'd love to get direct deployments where we can, but this marketplace is probably going to last into next year.
Because we just got through our gauntlet of carrier meetings where we bring in all our carrier partners. I would say in specifically personal lines, we are starting to see cracks of light of them looking to open up in 2025. And Safeco's now back open to appointments. Travelers is starting to look at, okay, what's this next season going to look like? Allstate's 360 products about to launch. Hartford has dipped their toes back in. So we're starting to see them do that. And so diving that back to the Access Plus portal, we're making significant strides in the technology. It is now completely domiciled in Salesforce, looking to roll that out to our members so that they can see the valuation of what it is that they're quoting in Access Plus. Because again, I can put a whole team that just quotes stuff, but that's not going to do you the long-term value of gaining the contract, right? It's not just production. It needs to be, what's your business plan? Why are you wanting to add this market into your arsenal? And then what's your growth strategy associated with them? I will say uniquely with us compared to, say, some of the other MGAs that I've seen out there is in our contract, you own that business. It is yours. It's funny, it's even in the termination documentation. If you terminate with us, you have 15 months to move it. And then only after that 15 months, if you haven't written it somewhere else or moved it, then it's no longer yours. But the goal is obviously you can contact those carriers for a direct market or direct contract, or you can set up a relationship with another MGA to move that. Because our goal and our strategy with any of our members is to not keep them captive, to not keep the shackles on. The goal is to get the shackles off as quickly as possible to where we're all making money together.
That's 15 months is very generous.
Part of that is the carriers too, because rolling it out it's funny. A lot of the terms in our contract are more there for the carriers for longevity purposes than it really actually is for the member. Because the members, again, they're entrepreneurs. It's like herding cats. Each one is going to be unique in its personality, how it's going to develop, what it's looking for. Whereas the carriers have been, for the most part, correct me if I'm wrong, Pat, have been operating very similarly year over year. They're just trying to deal with weather and cat loads. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. And, it's turning. I just put something on LinkedIn, I think it was last week and a half ago, that the results are starting to improve. And this is from national carriers. So, we tell everybody just hunker down and just stay the course, and it'll get better. So it's going the right way.
Now, this is an opportunity for some of our more seasoned members that are saying, do I want to deal with another hard market? Do I want to go through that? And a lot of them that we find haven't started having the succession planning. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to sell this? What am I building somebody up to take it over? Am I grooming somebody? Obviously, we wanted to assist them into that, whether that being finding them an agent that would be interested in partnering with them or buying them out. I know retail specifically will work with them on a profit center type basis that says, look, when you're ready to turn off the lights, that's when you'll sell us the whole. But right now, just sell us half of it, and we'll work with you on that. But there are tons of options, and other members that are willing to even they try to undercut retail and just offer more. And I'll recommend them just the same. It's a interesting time. But I will take it back and then probably give the other guys some time to talk because I talk too much. But we've got situations where, guy sells his business and then, after it's great for the first year. And then they start looking around going like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And what we're trying to develop here is an opportunity to where, let's say don't sell all of it, sell part of it and keep going. The knowledge that you possess, the years over years that you've been in this industry are instrumental in training and mentoring that next generation of either entrepreneur or guys and gals that are coming into the industry space. At a certain point, King Arthur has to become Merlin, and we're have a shortage of Merlins right now. So we need those mentors. We need those guys that have been in the industry for 20, 30, 40 years. Ideally mentoring the guys that have only been in it for like 5.
Yeah. So it's a long-term relationship. What you guys have with your target clients, I want to say. I feel dirty using that word clients based off of what you guys have described.
Yeah.
But it's a long-term.
Yeah. Okay. It's really that long-term partnership, right? Where we truly only succeed when our partners succeed, right? So that's the great thing, whether it's our growth coach, whether it's Access Plus, whether it's succession planning, everything that we do, every step that we take is all in the interest of making sure that we're making good, profitable decisions for all parties involved, right? Unlike maybe other MGAs that, own it, we have no vested interest other than making sure our partners are successful. Right. And that's a great position to be in, and a great position to operate from.
Yeah. When they win, you win.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you talked about King Arthur becoming Merlin. And, I love that analogy with essentially the hero's journey of someone been there, done that, reconnecting with someone else who needs to be there and done that. What stories do you all have of someone who's either currently in that situation or going through that situation with, whether it's on the tech side or building their agency, just this long-term relationship that keeps getting highlighted? What's a win story that you have?
There's a few to pick from, but I think one of the overarching one, or one of the biggest ones, at least for me, when I was first stepping in here, I didn't know all the members. So we're currently at 97, 96 members to date. This was back when we were probably around 50 sub-agencies that we were working with. And this one particular lady came in, and she, I'll just give you her name. It's Teresa Kitchens. She is a wildcracker. She is solid in her business and entrepreneurial sense. She's built a couple different companies, and she was actually coming in to terminate the relationship.
Oh, wow.
And was like, what's the value here? What am I paying for? I'm not seeing this. And I was completely ignorant to her existence because I just stepped into the COO role as a recruiter. I was really just focused on sales, and then stepped in and I was like, oh gosh, I have a member that I've never met. And I had my dad beat me up. He's like, you need to take the time, go circle, meet all of the members, get to know who they are, what their story is, how you can help them. So he's drilling that in. She comes in and is ready to terminate the contract. I said, okay, well, let's sit down, and I just want to hear, your story and what it is that you're looking for. Let's do this needs assessment just to see. And so she comes through, and the whole time she's talking, I'm like, she has no idea who we are.
Wow.
And or what resources that we have. And she's just going on for this and this. Because when she first came on, it was welcome to the network. You are now an independent agent. There are options aplenty. You can you can make your own journey, which sounds great until you're in that shoes. And then you're going to like, oh crap, there are literally 1,000 different ways that I can do this. How do I start? Where do I begin? What do I do? And hence the direction of the growth coach or the formation of that role is to really guide them through all that sea of 1,000 options. So she was explaining, what she's looking at, what she wants to accomplish. And I said, hey, give me 6 months. All I'm asking for is 6 months. And after 6 months, you're still adamant that you want to terminate, you can terminate. And we'll walk through that. She goes, well, I don't understand what the time difference is. I want to do a modified onboarding with you with our new agency growth coach. At the time, it was April Jones because she was our first growth coach. And I says, I want you to work with her. And let's go back through that and do this deep dive, figure out what your needs are, all of that, and see how we can best partner with it. About, I think it was maybe 3 weeks in, she calls me up. She goes, I'm in. I'm sold.
Okay.
Like she just goes, this is it. This is what I want. She goes, I wanted this, I think she's been with us now 15 plus years. She said, I wanted this when I first signed on, that support, that direction, that guidance. Not that you're going to tell me you can't do that, but that say, hey, if you're going to do that, watch out for this, this, and this. If you're going to step over here, hey, here's a couple things that you may want to pick up on. That is what she's been lacking and wanting as a guidance. And to this day, I mean, she does virtual assistant. She has her own podcast. She is a woman in charge. And it's always exciting to see her climb those mountains and accomplish that and be able to come beside her and help her. I think that's kind of a general sentiment amongst all of our members and our teams is being able to come beside other agents and help them be successful. So yeah, Teresa Kitchens, definitely one of my highlights. And then even now working with, we do the Lone Star Summit with SIAA, having her on the panels, being able to share her story. It's been awesome to see her story affect so many other agencies.
Mm-hmm. That's excellent. Well, we're coming up on the end of the show. I know we like to do a round of sharing before we
sharing is caring.
Close out the episode. Yeah, sharing what wisdom that the Alliance has for the listeners. I can go ahead and start with one. There's a book I read every year called The Magic of Thinking Big, and I bring it up mainly because of some of the things you guys were saying at the beginning, how there's not a whole lot of Merlins, how there's not a whole lot of leadership, and the book just opens with, hey, it's lonely at the top, but it's because there's not a whole lot of people jumping in to leadership right now. And this book was written, I think, in the 60s. It may have been a little bit later than that, but it's all about, big thinking instead of thinking, how am I going to get there? It's just, I'm going to get there. It's time to get going. Very, very uplifting book. Whenever I need a new idea or a new strategy, I just pull that out and start reading. And usually by the end, I've read whatever it is I need to hear. Can't recommend it enough.
And I'm proud to say this as a 60-year-old. I'm still using social media, so I'm
hey,
pretty
there you go.
excited about that.
There you go.
So I did put out something on LinkedIn a few months ago, and it had to do with Cortez back in
burn the ships.
Yeah, back in I think 1519, and he landed at Veracruz, and he told all of his folks to turn around, and they turned around and the ships were on fire. And they said, well, what are you doing? And he said, we're committed. We can't go back. So the only thing we can do is do what we came to do. So, this group, I can't say it enough about the commitment that each of us have and collectively as a group. So our commitment is the best in the industry. And again, I've seen enough to be able to say that. But we want the same from our members. So, we're looking for commitment and to make this work, especially when the industry does what it did 18 months ago, and we're still going through it. is if you're committed, we're committed with you, and we're going to see this through. So I just love that visual of total commitment, and everybody wins. So, yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, Chad.
For me, I'll probably take mine a little slightly different. We all like to read, get into books, but actually one of the biggest things that hit me was something in a small group a couple weeks ago. It was a little 20-page pamphlet just on the value of relationships.
Okay.
Right? Something that as we get busy thinking about strategies and executing and selling and doing all these things, we sometimes forget to just take that step back and really focus and center in on that relationship and how we can solve most things with that work. So mine would be just take that 30 seconds, breathe, and focus in on those relationships and see where they get you.
Mine's going to be a slight selfish plug, a little bit, just a little bit. The book's called Leaving Captivity. It's actually written by one of our member agents, James Jenkins. Yeah. He does a phenomenal job of documenting all the different stages that you're going to experience as you transition from a captive to an independent. And if you are listening to this and you are an independent agency, never been a captive, still worthwhile. It's very helpful in understanding whether it be EOS. He puts a lot of tools in it as well. And this is my part that I enjoy. It's through his humility. So when he's screwing up, he's literally writing his screw ups and his wife beats him up on it. And I get a kick out of that type of narrative. So Leaving Captivity by James Jenkins, I would highly recommend that.
If I throw this in real quick on James, we attend the same church.
That's a good thing or a bad thing?
Cottonwood Creek. So James, they had baptisms yesterday, and most of the pastors do them, but they allow others to baptize certain, and James baptized his son. And it was very moving, but they all have a script to go up there and do the baptismal script. And I see James get the microphone, and all I thought was, oh gosh, this may go somewhere else. And so James, being James, started out talking about what he wanted to talk about, and I thought this is awkward, but he finally got to it, did a great job. And
I thought you were going to say he did like an altar call, and like half the congregation got up and moved forward or something.
I thought you said he was going to try and sell insurance.
Right?
Yeah. If any of y'all need a quote, no.
But back to Chad's point, relationships went up and just gave him a big old hug and hugged his son, and awesome. This is more than business. This is personal. So that's the culture of Coverica. So It's exciting. Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to this episode of Agency Ascend. Be sure you like and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. New episodes go out every 3 weeks on Wednesday. And until then, we hope to see you next time.